in the shadow of a crumbling empire, at a time when emperors rose and fell like waves crashing on a stormy shore, a boy barely old enough to shave took the throne of the Roman Empire. Gordian III, a teenager surrounded by ambition, intrigue, and war, was hailed as the last hope of a faltering Rome. But could youth and lineage alone hold back the tide of chaos? This is the story of the child emperor who dared to face the East and paid the ultimate price. The mid-3rd century AD was among the most perilous times in Roman history. Political assassinations, rampant inflation, civil wars, and barbarian invasions tore at the empire from every direction. It was a time historians now call the crisis of the 3rd century, and into this maelstrom was born Marcus Antonius Gordianus on January 20th, 225 AD. He came from a prestigious lineage. His grandfather, Gordian I, and uncle, Gordian II, had briefly ruled in North Africa during a revolt against the Emperor Maximinus Thrax. Their rebellion, though short-lived, earned them the posthumous admiration of the Roman Senate. Gordian's mother, Antonia Gordiana, was a powerful figure in her own right, ambitious and politically astute. In 238 AD, the so-called Year of the Six Emperors, the empire saw a dizzying carousel of rulers. After the deaths of Gordian I and II, the Senate scrambled for legitimacy, appointing Pupienus and Balbinus as co-emperors. But they were unpopular with both the people and the Praetorian Guard. It wasn't long before both were brutally murdered. In a desperate bid for stability, the Praetorian Guard declared the 13-year-old Gordian III as emperor. The Senate, weary of the chaos, had little choice but to endorse him. Thus began the reign of the youngest sole emperor in Roman history. Though he wore the purple, Gordian III did not rule alone, at least not at first. His youth meant the real power rested in the hands of the Senate and a circle of senior advisors, but that suited many in Rome just fine. For once, aristocrats believed they could shape imperial policy without fear of military coups or dictatorial overreach. The early years of his reign were remarkably stable, considering the era. The aristocracy maintained administrative control while allowing Gordian to grow into the role of emperor. His coinage and public imagery emphasized continuity, tradition, and Roman virtue, key messages to a population desperate for reassurance. In 241 AD, Gordian solidified his political position through marriage. His bride, Furia Sabinia Tranquillina, was the daughter of the newly appointed Praetorian prefect, Gaius Furius Sabinius Timesitheus. Timesitheus wasn't just any bureaucrat. He was one of the most competent and respected administrators of his time. This marriage not only gave Gordian an experienced advisor, but also gave Timesitheus an even stronger influence over imperial decisions. Rome's eastern frontier had always been a flashpoint, but by the 240s the threat had grown existential. The Sassanid Empire, under the dynamic leadership of Shapur I, was aggressively expanding and testing Rome's defenses in Mesopotamia and beyond. Unlike many puppet rulers before him, Gordian III did not remain idle. Bolstered by Timesitheus's counsel, he took a bold step. He would personally lead a military campaign to confront the Persians. In 243 AD, the Roman legion scored a significant victory at the Battle of Rasaina in modern-day Syria. The success was a morale boost and a rare Roman triumph during a dark period. Gordian III was hailed in inscriptions and coins as Restitutor Orientis, restorer of the East. For a moment it seemed as though a golden chapter was beginning. Rome had a young emperor with legitimacy, a strong general in Timesitheus, and a victorious army reclaiming lost glory. But fate, as always, had other plans. Later that same year, disaster struck. Timesitheus died unexpectedly while the campaign was still ongoing. The circumstances remain suspicious. Was it illness, treachery, poison? Historians debate the cause, but the effect was immediate and devastating. Without his trusted mentor, Gordian III was vulnerable. Into the vacuum stepped two men, Gaius Julius Priscus and his brother, Marcus Julius Philippus, better known as Philip the Arab. Philip became the new Praetorian prefect, a position that effectively made him the power behind the throne. Gordian III, still only 18, now faced a complex web of military, political, and personal pressures, with no experienced advisor to guide him. Despite the setback, Gordian pressed on with the Persian campaign, but with Timesitheus gone and Philip consolidating influence, the cohesion of the Roman forces began to unravel. In early 244 AD, the Roman army clashed with Shapur's forces at the Battle of Mysice. Unlike Racina, this was a catastrophe. The Roman forces suffered a crushing defeat, and what happened next remains one of history's great mysteries. The mystery surrounding the death of Gordian III is quite intriguing. You see, Sassanid records boast that Gordian III died in battle, a victim of Roman weakness. But Roman sources, well, they suggest more sinister possibilities. Some say he was assassinated by his own troops, while others whisper that perhaps he was betrayed by Philip himself in a bid for power. What is certain is that Gordian's body was returned to Roman territory and buried with honors in Zatha, Mesopotamia. Within months, Philip declared himself emperor. Gordian III's reign lasted just 6 years, but in those years, he managed to achieve more than many of his predecessors. He restored a semblance of order to the imperial court, delivered a notable military victory, and briefly stabilized a fractured empire. He was perhaps the last Roman emperor of the 3rd century to enjoy genuine goodwill from both the Senate and the people. His youth, innocence, and courage made him a symbol of hope, Rome's last glimmer before the storm of further civil wars, economic collapse, and near-total fragmentation. In hindsight, Gordian III was both a pawn and a player, manipulated by others, yet determined to leave a mark of his own. Gordian III's story is not just one of tragedy, it's a tale of resilience, ambition, and the crushing weight of history. He was a boy made emperor, caught between forces he couldn't control and a destiny he tried to shape. So what do you think? Was Gordian III a tragic victim of circumstance or a young leader who came close to defying fate? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this dive into one of Rome's lesser-known but fascinating emperors, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more deep dives into the empires, wars, and figures that shaped our world. Until next time, keep exploring the ruins of history, one story at a time.